Today, I am going to discuss with you how to find the volume of two rectangular prisms that are being put together without overlapping each other. We know that the formula in solving for the volume of a rectangular prism, we use the formula V is equals to L, which is length, times W, which is width, and H, which is height. Okay? Now, you're given two boxes here on my first picture, which are being put together without overlapping each other. And the way I look at the picture, there is no problem with the missing dimensions, because if you're going to look at box 1, which is this one here, I would say this is box 1, which is from these dimensions over here is box 1. This is the whole of this is box 1, the bigger box. Okay? And that's box 1. As we can see, the length is given, which is the 7. The width is given, which is the 4. And the height is given, which is 7. So I would say that all the dimensions are given. Since we numbered this as box 1, we are going to find the volume of box 1, which is length times width times the height. We always write down the formula because that is our guide. And the length is 7. And the width is 4. And the height is 7. So we multiply 7 times 4 is 28. Times 7. So we have 28 times 7. 7 times 8 is 56. Carry 5. 7 times 2 is 14 plus 5 is 19. So box 1 has a volume of 196 cubic centimeters. Okay? Now let's move on to box 2. So we would say also that box 2 has complete dimensions. This is the length of box 2. I will also color it. This is the length. This is the width. And this is the height. The whole of this is box 2. So there is no problem with the dimensions because all the dimensions are given. So we also use the formula. Volume is equals to length times width times height. I label that V2 because that's the volume of the second box. It's the second box here. So the length is 7. The width is 2 over here. And the height is 2 over here. So 7 times 2 is 14. And then 14 times 2 is 28. So the volume of the second box is 28 cubic centimeters. What are we going to do next is we are going to add the 196 and the 28. Okay? So we have 196 plus 28. So 8 plus 6 is 14. Carry 1. 1 plus 9 is 10 plus 2 is 12. Carry 1 and 1 plus 1 is 2. So therefore, the volume of this rectangular prism here is 224 cubic centimeters. This space is not enough, okay? So 224 cubic centimeters. Now let's move on to box 2, where I believe box 2 also, or prism 2, is also complete. If you're going to separate the two boxes, this is the first box here. which is placed on top of the bottom box, which I call it the second box. So this is box 1. This one here. And the dimensions are complete. It has a length of 4, a width of 1, and a height of 2. So volume of box 1 is length times width times height, L times W times H. The length is 4. The width is 1, this one here. And the height is 2, which is this one here. So 4 times 1 is 4, times 2 is 8. So therefore, the volume of this box here is 8 cubic units. I say units because there is no given unit. Okay? Now this is box 1 and this is box 2. Let's move in solving for the volume of box 2. So we call it V2. And we also have length times width and times the height. Okay? The length is given, also 4 here. And the width is also given, which is 2. And the height is also given, which is 2. Okay? So the length is 4. The width is 2, which is this part here. And the height is 2, from this part to this part. So 4 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So therefore, the volume of the second box is 16 cubic units. We are going to add the two volumes. So we can say V1 plus V2. V1 is 8 and V2 is 16. So 8 plus 16 is 24. So the volume of this prism here, which is composed of two boxes that are placed together without overlapping each other, is 24 cubic units. Okay? Now for prism 1 and prism 2, we don't have problem in solving for the missing dimensions. Everything is given, the length, the width, and the height. Now let's move on to problem number 3. Do you think problem number 3 is complete? Let's find out. If you're going to separate this, we can draw a line from this corner here all the way down here. Okay, so we can say that this is box 1, which is placed in front of box 2. So this is box 2. Okay, if we're going to look at box 1, do we have the length, which is this part here? There's none. But if you're going to look at the opposite, this is the side, this is the opposite, nothing. This is the opposite, nothing. That is the opposite side, nothing. And that is the opposite side. And we can see that this side is 14 inches long. If that is 14, this should be 14, this should be 14, this should be 14, and this should be 14. Because in a rectangular prism, opposite sides, opposite faces, opposite vertices, everything that are opposite are exactly the same in rectangular prism. So, we have now the complete dimensions of box 1. We have the length, we have the height, which is 3, and we have the width, which is 8 here. This is the width, which is the 8. It's given here. Okay? So, V1 is length times width. Please always write down the formula because the formula is your guide. Okay? The length is 14. The width is 8. It's here. And the height is 3. It's here. This one here. So we multiply. 14 times 8 is 112 because 8 times 4 is 32. Carry 3. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 3 is 11. So 112 times 3. Okay. So we have 336. 336 cubic inches. That is the volume of box 1. Okay. Now let's have box 2 here. Are all the dimensions given? Let us see. Do we have the length? Yes, it is here. This is the length. This one here. Do you have the width? Yes, it's here 4. Do you have the height? Yes. From this part to this part. Are we going to take that from that part to that part? Yes. Okay, because we're referring to the whole of this box. So we write length times width times the height. And the length is 14. The width is 4 here. And the height is the whole of this. So if you multiply 14 times 4 is 56 times 8. Okay? So 8 times 6 is 48. Carry 4. 8 times 5 is 40 plus 4 is 44. So the volume of the second box is 448 cubic inches. Okay? We add now the 336 plus 448. So 336 plus 448. 336 is the volume of the first box. The second box is for 336. So that is 14, carry 1, 8, and 7. Okay. So therefore, the volume of this prism here, which is composed of two non-overlapping rectangular prism, is 784 cubic inches. Okay? So 784. Now let's move on to the third box or prism. We are going to divide this, and the easiest is to draw a line from a corner all the way down. Okay? We can divide this way and that way. Okay? But for the meantime, I want you to master dividing it this way. And then if you have mastered it, then we go to other way of splitting the two boxes. Okay. So this is box 1 here. Box 1 is the whole of this. It is just placed in front of that bigger boxes there at the back. So this is box 1. Does box 1 have all the dimensions? Does it have the length, the width, and the height? No. It has only the height. So we are going to solve for the length, the width, and we already have the height. Okay? So I'm going to put 3 under the height because it's given. How about the length? How would we know the length? Okay. So from this part here to this part is 9 inches. Okay? But we are not. The length of this box is not all of this. It is just from here to here. How long do you think is this? So look at the other box. The length of box 2 is 6 here, which means to say from here to here is 6. Therefore, if the total of this length is 9, from here to here is 6, how long do you think is this side? So we are going to subtract 9 minus 6, which is the side or the length of the other box. Therefore, the length here is what? 3. Okay? So we have now the length, we have now the height. How about the width? Nothing, 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 nothing. Wow, there is a number there. And you know that opposite sides are exactly the same. So if that is 2, therefore this is a 2. Okay. So we have now the length, which is a 3. I'll write it here. And the width, which is a 2. So if we multiply this, 3 times 2 is 6 times 3 is what? 18. So the volume of this box here is 18 cubic inches. Okay, let's move on to box number 2. And let's analyze if it is complete. We use the formula length times width times height. Please do not forget to write down the formula because that is your guide. Oh, that is box 2. I'm referring to box 2. Okay, this is box 2. Were we given the width of box 2? Yes, it is 2. Were we given the length of box 2? Yes, this is it. Were we given the height? Yes. Can we take the whole 8 here? Yes or no? Yes. Because we're referring to this box here. This box. Which is it has the length of 6. It has the width of 2. And it has a height of 8. So it is complete. So the length is 8. The width is 2. No, I'm sorry. The height is 8. That's the height. The width is 2. And the length is 6. Okay? So we multiply 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 8 is 8 times 2 is 16. Can you 196? Okay? 96 cubic inches. That's the volume of box 2. Okay? So I will just write, it should be IN3 because there's no enough space. So instead of writing the word cubic, just write number, small number 3 on the upper right corner of the given unit. So inches, so I will write in, and then I will write 3 on the right hand corner. I don't have enough space. I will show you how to do it. So inches cube here. Okay, so 96. So volume 1 is 18, volume 2 is 96. Add the two volumes, 18 plus 96. So 6 plus 8 is 14, carry 1. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 1 is what? 11. Okay? So, the volume of this prism is 114 cubic inches. Okay? This is a problem where some dimensions are missing. Just analyze it. Okay? Now, let's move on to the last picture. Oh, I did already the 4. I thought I had, okay, very good. We did a 4. For problem number 1, number 2, we did not have a problem of the dimensions because they're all given. For problem number 2 and number 3 and number 4, we need to analyze some of the missing dimensions. And we know that opposite sides are the same, exactly the same. Now, if there is a missing dimension, you are going to refer to the given dimensions of each of the boxes and subtract whatever is given. Like, for example, this one. The whole of this is 12. From here to here is 12. But according to this box here, from here to here is 4. Because that is 4, opposite is 4, so this should be 4. So therefore, what is the length of this box? Without the 8 there, you are going to subtract this from here. So that gives you 8. Okay, I'm just telling you this just in case there is no given length. Now let's move over here. And let's try to find out if there's also missing dimension. Yes. So remember here, this was nothing. It was not here. And the 3 here was not here. How did we solve? We know that from here to here is 9. That's the total. But from here to here is 6. So therefore, to find out how long is from this point to this point, you subtract 9 and 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. That is the length of this. Is this now complete? Yes. It has the length, the width, and the height. So 3 times 2 times 3 gives us 18. Okay, now let's move on to box 2 here. Analyze. Do we need anything? No. Why? The height is here, the width is there, and the length is there. So very good on this box here. Is there any question? Okay. So how are you going to divide the boxes into 2 if there are missing dimensions, so you would be able to analyze on what to do to solve for the missing dimension? Draw a line from a vertex all the way down. Don't look for another vertex. From the vertex all the way down. Okay? Okay, thank you for listening. Bye-bye. I hope this video would somehow help you better understand how to find the volume of 2 rectangular prisms that are being put together without overlapping each other.